Alf, how are you? Welcome back. It is another episode, bargain shopping for sports cards in the PSA Ebay store. This is going to be a fun one. This is our weekly episode. We're partnered with PSA where we're taking a look at some of the hottest cards, where we're looking at cool cards that we might be able to get a bargain on. If you've never graded with PSA before, take $25 off your first submission. Tell a friend. There's a lot of people out there that still have not tried out PSA. Just a one card minimum to try it out. Take $25 off with the SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen. Also, keep in mind, I just want to again explain the overall ecosystem that is PSA and eBay. So when you buy a card that is on eBay, you can choose to send it home, of course, or if you're thinking about maybe selling it down the road, maybe it's 30 days, 60 days, 6 months down the road, you can shoot it off to the PSA Vault and then very easily resell it on eBay without having to do all the shipping stuff, listing it yourself, and everything that goes into that. Also, if you've graded cards with PSA and you're like, man, do I ship these all home and then I list them on eBay? You don't have to do that anymore. Now you can put them directly onto eBay from the PSA Vault. Makes things very easy. I mean, for me, look, the less shipping, the less time at the post office, the time is money, then just the hassle and the stress of, oh man, I really hope that my items get there. I hope that everything is okay. You don't have to worry about that. This is making it a lot more seamless, so make sure to take advantage. Also, new features being added all the time in that PSA eBay store. You can now do or best offers. So yes, you can take your PSA graded cards and send them to auction if you want on eBay. It can just be a buy it now by itself, or it can be a buy it now or best offer. You got all the options, my friends. Make sure to try it out. Now let's flip the screen around and take a look at some awesome cards. Welcome back to another episode, Hobby Family Bargain Shopping on eBay. This is going to be a good time, and we have got to start with probably the most iconic basketball card of all time. It is the 86 Fleer Jordan. This one, of course, in the PSA eBay store. I like to pull these up, and this one's interesting because it is a half grade. It's not a 4, it's not a 5. It's a 4.5. And so I was looking in Card Ladder to just kind of look at, hey, what is the pricing? They don't have 4.5 there in Card Ladder, but they've got 4 and they've got 5. And I believe the 4 was sitting at about $3,300 or $3,400 recent sale. And then the 5 was not that much different. It was like $3,700, $3,800. The one thing that stuck out to me about this card, I'm looking at it, I can't see any huge obvious problems with this card to make it a 4 or 4.5. I mean, it looks really good to me. The centering, of course, is way off. I mean, the centering is pretty bad left to right, and so top to bottom as well. So the centering really hurt this card, and maybe there's a surface thing that I just can't see by looking at it here on the scans. But I was just thinking, man, this is a great looking copy for kind of the folks that are always looking at, hey, what's a lower grade option where I want to get into one of these iconic cards? This, of course, not a rare card or even a rare card that's graded by PSA. I think there's 20 or 30,000 of these plus that have been graded as a whole. But, you know, for those people that, you know, they don't necessarily need to have a 7, 8, 9, 10 where you're paying a huge price point. This is a really nice 4.5 to me. This one really stuck out as a beautiful card. And again, I'm just looking at it, and other than the centering, there must be some sort of, maybe there's a little divot or something I'm just not seeing. I mean, there's a little bit of edge wear there, but for the most part, just a great looking card. So wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that might be looking for 86 Fleer Jordan. All right, is this the next version of a Michael Jordan in the WNBA? This is, of course, Caitlin Clark. The Prism release, man, it looks really good. I like the design on these cards. And this, of course, is the picture. I just got the new PSA magazine in the mail, and this is the same picture that's used on that cover. The regular season for WNBA starts on Saturday. Actually, when this releases, it should be Saturday morning. The first Indiana Fever game of the season will be that afternoon, I believe, and there is so much kind of buildup for this. I know for a lot of card collectors, sports card collectors, they're like, I don't understand the hype around a WNBA card or, you know, WNBA player. And I totally get it because, frankly, over the last 20 plus years, the WNBA has really fallen short of expectations. I mean, there really hasn't been a lot of viewership up until now. You've had spurts, certainly, and there's been a lot of good players in the WNBA, but there also just has been a lot of bad basketball played in the WNBA as well. Caitlin Clark brings a new energy. Of course, she's got kind of a Steph Curry style game, frankly. I mean, that would be the direct comparison. She shoots the logo threes. excellent passer and ball handler. So we'll see. The Indiana Fever, they beefed up their team this year with some veterans. They have championship aspirations. This is the logo, the WNBA logo prism. It's a PSA 10. And man, there is a big gap between ungraded and PSA 9 versus PSA 10 copies of these cards. I have somewhere between, 12 to 15 Prism and Select Caitlin Clark rookie cards. So I've really kind of bought into this and trying to get 10s. I've got a few 10s. I've got more of these cards that are at PSA for Caitlin Clark. And I think the big question mark here, and I think what a lot of dealers are doing is they're buying and selling and kind of grading these out. And for the 10s, they're making good money from raw to PSA 10. The thing that I want to see is, okay, when she goes into season, when we actually enter into the NBA season, because I'm going to hold through the season here, maybe not through the end of the season for all of it. I do want to keep some cards through the end. I want to buy, sell some, and keep some. That's kind of my Caitlin Clark strategy. But what typically happens, and we know this, is when the season starts, you usually see prices fall. So I think a lot of dealers are thinking, okay, we've got a lot of hype buildup, for these cards, and they're just selling them off. I'm curious to see how these hold up as we go through the year. Will the excitement build, or will it kind of wane a little bit? Of course, you've got injury risks that are there as well. Hopefully, Caitlin Clark stays healthy. That's with every athlete in their cards. So this is going to be really interesting to watch. This one ends on Saturday evening. It's at $449, but the overall aesthetic for these cards, these 2024 Prism, I really like these. All right, let's shift over to football, 2024 certified. And frankly, I just thought this was a cool card. It's a mirror teal certified star CJ Stroud, the Texans quarterback, numbered out of 50. It's in a PSA 9 holder. To me, looked like a nice collector card. I'm sure if you have this in a PSA 10, it's a lot more expensive. Some condition sensitivity, especially for these cards on the surface with chipping. So just to have this in a mint 9 is pretty cool, frankly. And I just like the overall design of this card. I know it's certified. I know it's not, it's not Prism. It's not National Treasures. It's not Topps Chrome. But I think for collectors out there that are just looking for, I just love to have affordable CJ Stroud cards that look cool. This to me popped out as an example of this. This one ends on Sunday night. Current bid, as there's one bid here at $50.99 in the PSA store here on eBay. Just thought it was worth a share. All right, a lot of controversy around the recent NBA lottery. The Dallas Mavericks, who, my God, the GM, Nico, he's still getting all sorts of hell for trading Luka to the Lakers. And then magically, with a 1.8% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks get it. And of course, they're in line to get Cooper Flagg, the superstar out of Duke. I pulled this card out. This is a card I looked at a few weeks ago also. I just really love the look of this card. It's the 2024 McDonald's Chrome, and it's the half-court offense auto card. It is a sticker auto, but I just like the overall look of this card. It's kind of a gold refractor, numbered out of 50. This is a PSA 10 version. I was looking at a recent sale for this, and there was one sale going back a little over a month ago for $2,000. Looked like there was one bid at $2,000, and that one was number 22 out of 50, so I know it's not exactly the same card. So this one's sitting at $1,275 right now with 13 bids on it at time of recording with 3 days and change left. There'll be about a day left when this is actually live. It ends on Sunday night. Of course, eventually here, Cooper Flagg is going to have Mavericks cards, and we'll have to see how this type of a card does hold up. But I just thought that compared to some of the other cards I've seen for Flagg, this is a really cool one. Will he turn around that Mavericks franchise? I mean, if you look at it on paper, I know that they're aging, but Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, I know Anthony Davis can never stay healthy, but you've got Flagg, you've got Kyrie Irving, and you've got Anthony Davis, and you've got some role players. I mean, Dallas might actually be pretty good. I mean, let's see how Cooper Flagg does in the NBA, but I don't think that he is going to be a total bust. I think he'll add some flair to the Dallas Mavericks. So the parity in the NBA just got a little more interesting with the Dallas Mavericks getting that number 1 overall pick. All right, the best player in modern baseball, we've got Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers just doing work in the majors. Are they going to repeat? They've got the super team, the superstar team there in LA. We've got here, I just thought, again, just an interesting card here from his rookie season for a collector. that's just looking to get a Ohtani card. It is a pitching pick, not a hitting pick. Some people like one over the other. This one at time of recording sitting at $29. It is the Optic, the rated rookie, the red and yellow version in the PSA 9. This one ends on Saturday night. Again, sitting at $29 at time of recording. I'm just thinking of young people that maybe don't have $1,000 to spend on a Shohei Ohtani card, but want a rookie card. It is unlicensed, unfortunately, but again, just looking for cool cards for collectors that want to buy into an Ohtani card, and here's an option, a mint copy for a reasonable price. We'll stay on baseball, going back to a time when baseball really was rejuvenated. Yes, it was a steroid era, but this goes back to playing days. Barry Bonds, the home run hero, the home run king. And when he was fighting off Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire for these home run titles, this is a 2000 Topps Chrome Refractor and a PSA 9, tough grade and a 9. This one's sitting here at $349.99 OBO. And I was looking back at, can I find a recent sale for this? And it was tough to find a recent sale, but there was one that was on eBay at $499, and it was OBO. So I went on to sellthepeak.com just to see, okay, what did this sell for? Because it probably wasn't $499. It sold at $325 going back to March, so a couple of months ago. And so this one's sitting at $350, basically OBO. That aligns with that last sale. Could this card maybe be had for a little bit less than that, less than that recent comp? It could be, and I just like these cards. Again, when you go to kind of the late 90s, early 2000s, the Barry Bonds stuff, there's a ton of cool refractors, different insert cards from these sets. There's Fleer autograph cards that I've bought in the past that I just think are really great. And they don't necessarily get a lot of hobby attention, but they just are great cards. And so I wanted to pull this one up as one where, hey, maybe you could get this one at lower than that last comp at $325 for arguably the greatest baseball player of all time. In the comment section, let me know. Barry Bonds, best ever? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of the greatest players of all time, we've got just a really cool card. 2011 Upper Deck Goodwin Champions. It is a Michael Jordan autograph card, and Michael Jordan autos, highly sought after. And I keep on coming back to these types of cards that are pack-pulled type cards. And the reason is because Michael Jordan, there's a lot of aftermarket autos, third-party autos that we don't necessarily know if they're real or not. Michael Jordan, not just the cards, but the autographs are some of the most faked on the market, just really tough. And so I think then it comes back to, okay, what are my options for pack-pulled cards? This one is sitting at $5,500 or best offer. And there's a lot of cards kind of in this bucket of $4,000 to $7,000, $8,000 for these pack pulled autos. This one is a BGS 9. It is a 10 Beckett auto grade, and I pulled this one because I think the autograph just looks great on it. It's centered up really nicely. Kind of a cool portrait of MJ. It's not him dunking a basketball, but I just thought overall this is just a really rad looking card. I do have another one of these that we're going to pull up as well, because I just think that it's interesting how just because some of his stuff is UNC. So, of course, it's the college version. It's not Chicago Bulls. A lot of times the autos are a lot less expensive if you're comparing between Bulls stuff and UNC. And I understand it's kind of the college versus the pro uni and that sort of a thing. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina. My wife went to UNC. So I like these cards. For me, if I was going to buy a Michael Jordan card, an auto, it would be one of these UNC cards. This is actually a perfect example of a type of card that I would go after. And it's exquisite. I like the fact that it's exquisite collection. This one's dimensions. It's in a PSA holder. It's authentic PSA holder, and it's got a 10 auto grade on it. I just think, again, there's a lot of different options of these cards as well, different photos and different options. Some of them have like a basketball court on them for the UNC cards, but who knows? Maybe they would take an offer quite a bit lower than that $3,500, maybe not. Wanted to take a look at some of the cards. The Michael Jordan autograph market is one that's pretty red hot right now, and it's not even just on cards. It's sneakers, it's jerseys, it's everything. We just learned that Michael Jordan is going to join NBC in the booth doing some sort of commentating analyst work, which I think is going to be incredible. And will it help or hurt his cards, have no effect on them? I think that's going to be really interesting to watch. Now, what about one of the guys that inspired Michael Jordan? Julius Irving Dr J. This is such a classic rookie card for him with the Squires, the Virginia Squires, 1972 tops. I owned this card going back to 2020 and sold it during the kind of the pandemic rise, the crazy pricing. This is a PSA 4. One thing that stands out to me is it's centered pretty well. It is a little bit beat up for sure. Like these are, a little bit more rounded corners and that sort of a thing. The edges look, it's tough. That's why it's a 4. But again, just kind of a copy that's affordable for a collector. This one is sitting at $4.99. Buy it now. I did look at Card Ladder recent sale at $395. So this is one you can kind of shop around for. For vintage cards like this, it really just boils down to the copy that fits your collection the best. And so maybe this person eventually, if it doesn't sell at $4.99, they put an OBO on it and there's an opportunity for a little bit lower of price point. Not a rare card. They are out there. If we look here again on eBay, you can check PSA data, which is fantastic. I can't imagine with the PSA 10. Look at that. It's a pop 1 in a PSA 10. I wonder if that has sold recently. I'd love to see what that one sits at because I'm sure it is really pricey. The 9's pricey as well because there's only 161 of those. 1,008s, 1,107. So now as you're getting kind of 876, it's starting to become more and more common. You get down to the 4. So there are options in this card, and it just boils down to, for your collection with vintage, it's always what are you prioritizing from a visual perspective, whether that's surface or corners or centering or edging or whatever it is. Everyone's got to find kind of that right copy. So wanted to throw this one out there. It is priced above a recent comp by about $100, but again, we'll see what happens here. My all-time favorite sets, and frankly, again, one of the most iconic basketball card sets ever. You've got 86 Fleer, and then 25 years earlier, that was the last time they had done a set Fleer. It's 1961, and this, of course, is where you've got Wilt Chamberlain rookies, you've got Jerry West rookies, Elgin Baylor. So many huge rookies coming out of the 61 Fleer set. It's got such a basic design, but it's just a really cool design here. Right, for this one, we've got a 61 Fleer Bill Russell in a PSA 4. This one ends on Sunday night. At time of recording, they've got this listed at $645. There's no bids currently. This one, of course, right out of the gate, it's centered left to right, pretty rough centering left to right. And that's what you get with a lot of these 61 Fleers. The cut on it, the centering is always pretty bad on these. I don't want to say always, but a lot of times it's not great. And that's why if you can get lower graded copies or mid-grade copies that do happen to be centered, but maybe, like for me, a perfect card for this set is it's got some corners, like it's got some rounded corners, but it's really nicely centered and the surface looks great. This one has a really nice surface from what I can see. It's just that centering is a killer. The corners actually look pretty decent. Again, these cards usually pretty beat up. These cards weren't taken care of. Going back to these early basketball cards, I mean, hell, even in the 80s, basketball cards weren't taken care of as much just because people weren't collecting them near as much as baseball, let alone go all the way back to the 60s. And then you have very limited basketball card sets. So this one is sitting at $645. I did look at the Card Ladder data, and it looks like there was a sale in a 4 right at about $560 last. So this one, it's about $70, $80 above that last comp. Will the seller adjust the price if they can't sell it? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're like, you know what? I just really like this copy. I'm going to keep it here. Maybe somebody is willing to pay that $645 based on like, hey, I don't mind the centering being off. The rest of the card looks great. I mean, the registration on this one looks really, really good. The colors are bold, the green and the blue. Really nice overall card. So to me, I just feel like you can't really lose with these types of cards if this is the one that you do like. Again, when you look at the total number that have been graded, about 1,500 copies total. There are no 10s. There's 29 9s. There's 171 8s. So, pop counts on these are just not very high. Again, it just boils down to which copy is the right one for you. But Bill Russell's got 9 titles. He's one of the all-time greats in the NBA, top 10 player of all time in the NBA. And this is just one of those classic sets. So you have everything kind of going for a card like this. All right, talking about classic cards, early Mantle card. Some people don't like this set. This is 1955 Bowman Baseball. And this is it's kind of that TV, that wood border. This is basically what our TV looked like in the 80s. And so I don't know. There's kind of a nostalgia thing for me on this one. I think some people don't like that it's a kind of a vertical card as opposed to horizontal kind of picture and all that sort of a thing. That's fine. This one is in a 3. And again, when I look at Card Ladder data, this one sits at about, I think there was a last sale at about $650. This one priced at $795. buy it now. So again, I'm seeing this where it's a little bit above kind of that recent comp. Again, with vintage cards, it just boils down to eye appeal. And if this is the right card for somebody might pay up for it. For this one, again, not a rare card. For these, you can be kind of picky. If you get into the higher grades, of course, look at this. There's 3 10s, there's 9 9s, there's 91 8s. And then as you get 7 and down, then it starts to get a little bit, there's more and more copies of these that pop up. But if you're buying a 1, a 2, a 3 for 55 Bowmans, whether it's Mantle or anybody else, you can be a little bit picky here. And so last sale at $640, but Mantle, again, these 50s Mantles cards are really interesting. Even though you might have populations that are a little bit higher for these type of cards in the lower grades, Mickey Mantle is kind of in the same boat as Michael Jordan. He's going to get serious hobby love always. That's just kind of the way it goes. And the difference between Mickey Mantle and Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan Mantle, if we look at Jordan cards in the 80s, he's got some limited cards in terms of just how many different types are there in the 80s, similar to Mantle here in the 50s. But, Jordan then also has 90s cards, and he's just got way more options, way more card options than Mickey Mantle, where it's just basically 50s and 60s cards. So yes, these were printed, and they're not rare, but there's just less sets, for Mickey Mantle. And so I think for vintage baseball card collectors, and as these cards become even more and more vintage, as we get older, the demand, I think, is going to continue to rise for these types of cards. All right, next up, we're going to look at the last vintage baseball card for today, but an all-time classic, the 1953 Topps Satchel Page. Now, this is a card that if we look at the PSA data here, no 10s, there's 9 9s, there's 93 8s. So this is one of those 93 8s, and it's the last stop before you basically run into the impossible to find PSA 9 and no 10s. You might be thinking, man, $20,000, that's a lot. Well, we looked at card ladder data, and there was one at $19,700 that sold about a month or two ago. So this is right in line with the last sale, $20,000. And this is, again, just an all-time classic card, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And it's just a beautiful card. That 1953 Topps, such a popular set because of the illustrations. Again, these are not photos on the field. This is a drawing. This is an illustration. Some unbelievable kind of those early 50s cards out there for baseball and other sports. But man, will this one sell? This will be an interesting one to watch because it's not as if they're asking for, double the last comp or something. And this is, again, it's the last stop at PSA 8 before you get to 9, and you just can't find those cards. So here we are, a Satchel Page rookie PSA 8. What do you all think about this card? Let me know in the comments below. All right, last but certainly not least, we've got Anthony Edwards just advanced past the Warriors. I've always liked the aesthetic of 2020 Prism, and this is a Hyper Prism, which many will say is actually pretty tough to pull, tough to find. It's not a numbered card, but these are not necessarily the easiest finds here. PSA 10 for Anthony Edwards. Let's look at population. So you've got 175 and a 10, 225 9s, and there's a pretty big drop off down there. So 175 10s. It's not super, super rare. I looked at card ladder data, and the last sale, it's down below this 850 OBO. Last sale going back, about a week ago at $600. So this one, I think, again, you've got playoff basketball, and you've got people that are pricing above that comp, probably would take less than the 850, I'm guessing. But, they're kind of hoping for, okay, the Wolves go to the finals, or the Wolves, win a title, and someone is going to kind of pay up as prices rise based on the excitement of maybe Anthony Edwards winning a title. This is very interesting. We now have LeBron James that's out. Steph Curry is out. We have a new crop of stars that are rising that are going to have an NBA title. I think the Celtics they're still in it. They beat the Knicks last night. I think it's 3-2. Knicks still have a couple of games to take that series, but if the Celtics get knocked off and Tatum is out with that Achilles, then you're going to have one of these guys is going to have their first title. And so that's exciting for the NBA. I think it's time. It's time to have that next crop of stars. I guess you've got Jokic, that's in there as well. If Denver can kind of hang on and beat the Thunder, we'll see. But Anthony Edwards, a lot of people excited about Anthony Edwards. Can he get over the hump? They just pretty much dismantled the Warriors. We will see what happens next. Friends, Thank you very much for joining me for another bargain hunting, bargain shopping video here. For those that use my eBay affiliate code to make purchases, I so much appreciate it. We get a lot of those referrals, the people that are using the eBay affiliate to make buys on eBay, and we very much appreciate that. I've got the PSA store link for eBay is right down there in the video description, as well as the pinned comments. And again, don't forget to share with friends that have never submitted to PSA that SCD25 promo code for $25 off that first order, one card minimum. Hey, grading is not getting any cheaper. It's good to save a few dollars there at the shipping and billing screen. Friends, have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.